although NATO allies are thinking of leaving Afghanistan, there are still some serious concerns over the country's security. Let's take a closer look now. We can speak to Bradley Bowman. He's a senior fellow at the Foundation for Defense of Democracies. Well, thanks for joining us here on the programme. Well, the United States has made it clear that it wants to pull out of Afghanistan, but its forces have been considerably reduced over the past few years. Do you think this move is more symbolic than strategic?
Thanks for the opportunity to join you and discuss this important issue. I'll be honest, I think this is a short-sighted and dangerous mistake by the Biden administration. You know, as your correspondent said, we have roughly 2,500 to 3,500 U.S. troops in Afghanistan, more than double that number of NATO partners there. The purpose, why are they there? They're there because, of course, the 9/11 attacks were planned and launched from Afghanistan. And they've been there to prevent that from happening again. And for 20 years, they've effectively done that. By withdrawing these troops on a timeline-based, conditions-ignoring approach that ignores the advice of military commanders, we're going to relieve pressure on terrorist groups who will now have more time, breathing space to plot attacks against us. So I hope I'm wrong, but I believe this is a mistake that will come to regret. And I think international troops will be back in a matter of years, unfortunately, after Afghanistan has endured additional suffering.
The sound, unfortunately, on you isn't that great, but we're going to persist because it is an extremely important subject. What message do you think this sends out from the United States? What would you have Joe Biden do?
I would have President Biden reverse course. He's about to make the same mistake that the Obama administration made in Iraq in 2011. They did the exact same thing. They did a timeline-based, conditions-ignoring withdrawal in Iraq in 2011, contrary to the advice of commanders. And as a result, we saw the rise of ISIS, ultimately the ISIS caliphate, and American troops had to go back. We're going to see the exact same thing in Afghanistan if they repeat that mistake.
You don't think Afghanistan today is a better place than it was, when America and the Allies moved in 20 years ago?
There's no question. Ask thousands of girls attending schools. Ask the women who are not being put in soccer stadiums and being stoned to death by the Taliban. There's unquestionably a better place. Not perfect. There's serious problems. The Taliban controls a lot of territories, especially rural territories, much to criticize. But, the question is not whether we're tired of the conflict. The question is what is necessary to secure our interests. And, I give the Biden administration credit. They're admitting that they're ignoring conditions on the ground, that violence levels are not down. They have not broken with al-Qaeda. Bin Laden predicted this years ago. He said, we can defeat the United States. We, the Mujahideen, defeated the Soviet Union in Afghanistan. We can defeat the United States. If you kill enough Americans, they will withdraw like they did in Vietnam, like they did in Somalia, like they did in Aden. We're about to provide a major talking point to terrorist groups around the world that they will use to recruit and radicalize terrorists. And that will affect, unfortunately, all of us, all democracies.
Bradley Bowman, I'm afraid that's all we have time for from the Foundation for Defense of Democracies. Thanks for joining us on the programme.